Welcome to Esalen Live, where we chat with change agents and swim deep waters in an ongoing exploration of human potential. I'm your host, Christine Chen. Welcome. These days it is sometimes a challenge to just keep moving, let alone breathe and move, right? Well, on Esalen Live today, an expert in training us to do both as a way to peek into our relationship with ourselves. Sadia Bruce is a highly respected trainer and teacher for yoga, a lifelong educator, and embodiment expert. And she joins us on Esalen Live today. Hi there, Sadia.
Hi there, Christine. How's it going?
It's so and so good. I mean, better than it was before. We're getting there, right? I feel like we're getting there. So let's just stay on track.
Yeah, yeah. One breath at a time. One breath at a
One
time.
breath at a time. Yeah. Speaking of the breath, like that's what we're talking about today. And you at home on Esalen Live, if you've got any questions, please float them in the chat. If what Sadia is offering you today is helpful, please send her a little love. We love the heart emojis, the thumbs up emojis, to just give her an idea that this is really helping you. And I think it's going to, because we're talking about the breath here. Just trying to move and breathe is so seemingly mysterious and challenging right now, Sadia. What do you think?
Yeah. Very challenging. But the mystery of it is, I think it lies in its simplicity. And I think sort of we've been enculturated to respect things that are mysterious and perhaps inaccessible. So the reality is breath, the essential breath, radical breath, foundational breath is very easy. It's expansive, it's free. These are the natural qualities of breath. Breath is a resource that's always there for us. And I think the mystery is in the simplicity and its accessibility. There is no mystery. That's why it's so mysterious.
Like those things that seem like they're easy are really not, right? So
Right, right. That too.
when we talk about movement and breath, and then we think about movement, breath, and you, like this adds another layer because we can think about this as like I'm trying to move, I'm trying to breathe, but when does it become part of you?
Yeah, I didn't catch the last part of what you said, but I'll expound on the whole movement and breath and how do we kind of link these two things together? Because ideally, that's what we're doing, right? But it would seem to me, as I've observed students and even in my own practice and how it's evolved, the breath and the movement are like these two discrete things that are maybe kind of sort of happening in tandem if we're lucky. So my approach and my that has been offered to me by my teachers and their teachers is to allow the breath to kind of emerge and to be and to exist in its natural expansiveness and to let the movement actually be a response to breath rather than something that's done beside breath or on top of breath. There's a dance that's going on between kind of the limbs and this process of respiration.
And what do you mean by let the movement be a response to breath? Can we go a little deeper there?
Mm, sure, yeah. So my connection won't allow me to move a lot. Otherwise, I would move and show you. So I'm trying to be still here. But for example, um, I'll try to do a small movement here, but oftentimes in movement classes, we're told, okay, inhale, raise your arms up. So people, they breathe in, then the arms go up. And there's some kind of disconnect between that raising of the arms and moving of any of your limbs, any parts of your body, and this explosion of breath. So I want to get folks to try to first of all, sit with breath. We make room for breath in the body. Sit with breath, feel and become really intimate with the contours of breath and the way the breath is shaping you. And it requires us to yield a little bit, to kind of recede in the body, to stop the bracing so we can feel the movement of breath. So that an inhale, it happens, right? So everyone at home, you can go ahead and inhale and feel as the inhale rises up in your body, the movements that you do rather than just raising the arm, you're breathing, you're going to move as your breath. Rather than with your breath, you move as your breath. The result is movement that is much more embodied, much more fluid, that is a portal actually to the center of the self.
And Sadia, why do you think practicing this relationship and embodying breath, really feeling what you just described there, Why is this so important? It may be now more than ever.
Yeah, now more than ever. Well, I think folks, the folks at home know that I'll let me dial it back. I'll share what my philosophy is. So, I think most of these ails that we're experiencing in the world of varying levels of severity, they all stem from disconnection. Disconnection. But disconnection that begins at kind of the micro level. So when we are, as humans, disconnected from breath, we become disconnected from the body. We become disconnected from our energetic bodies. We become disconnected from emotional body. We become disconnected to all that we are, essentially. And so we begin to move in the world in a way that's disconnected from the essence and the reality of who and what we are. So
Mm.
these practices that I do and that I offer are designed to sort of bring us back inside, but in a way that's joyful.
Yeah, I love hearing that. The joy, bringing back the joy. When we talk
Yeah.
about the breath the way that you described it, there is that practice, this consciousness that we practice for the
Hmm.
reasons that you just explained. And then there's this
Hmm.
place where either there was intuitive or it becomes more intuitive. Can you kind of explain that relationship between intuitive breathing, conscious breathing, or maybe it's a progression?
Yeah, yeah, I would say that it is kind of a progression. And then I think sort of conscious breathing is maybe it's the anchor, and it's kind of the bedrock, and it's what we should all remember. I was going to say reach for, but remember it's already there. So conscious breathing would be things like breath work and things like pranayama and sort of regimented. They provide you with a scaffolding that allows you to be with breath. On the other hand, to my mind, intuitive breathing is something I've been playing with. Lots of folks use this phrase in different ways. When I say intuitive breathing, what I mean is beginning to move away from these scaffolded practices into just exploring and playing with the breath. So letting the breath arise in you after you've become pretty well established in these scaffolded practices, and then just playing with the breath, maybe putting on a song and sort of playing with rhythm and breath in that way. Or you find yourself in a being or in a state of mind that you'd like to shift. What would you do? Ask yourself, what would I do with my breath and in my body to try to shift this state? So rather than going to our sort of go to practices that have been prescribed, can we become so intimate with breath and body that we're able to begin to intuit what we need and to begin to develop our own practices?
Hmm. If you're just joining us on Esalen Live, we're with Sadia Bruce. She's an educator, very experienced yoga teacher, and embodiment expert. She trains other teachers and souls at Kripalu, and she was also a teacher in residence at Esalen. So she's joining us on Esalen Live today, talking about the breath, keeping us moving, breathing, which is sometimes a challenge. So we're inviting you right now to maybe participate in a practice, Sadia, of conscious breathing that has real practical use in today's challenging world. So I'll let you take it away, Sadia. And by the way, Catherine, thank you so much for joining us. Catherine says, using creativity too is such an important part of this process and this journey. So thanks for saying that,
Absolutely.
Catherine. Yeah, go ahead, Sadia, take it away. Let's all practice for
Yeah,
just a moment.
yeah. I appreciate that reminder of creativity because that's also foundational. But friends, let's do a really simple breath. It's known by many names: full and complete breath, yogic breathing, diaphragmatic breath, dirga breath. Let's go ahead and do a little horizontal breathing. Oftentimes, the breathing becomes kind of vertical and occurs up in the chest. We're going to bring the breath down into the belly. So you can go ahead and rest your hands on your body, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And first, just feel the weight of your hands on your body and be grounded by that. Feel resourced, as you feel your own support. And let's all take a full breath in and then an audible exhale. So breathe in through your nose. Adding a little sound to that audible exhale. One more. Breathe. Noticing any shifts that have occurred just as a result of you sighing. Noticing perhaps that residual resonance in your body. And then let your attention, friends, just alight and wrap itself around your breath, just as it is. And depending on, where you are, how you are arriving to this broadcast or replay, the breath could be doing any number of things. And notice whatever that thing is in this moment and allow. But then notice that simply by turning your attention to your breath, the breath seems to brighten, right? It seems to widen, seems to become a little enlivened in quality. Breath is like a child that's being watched, Look at me, look at me. We look, and there's this beautiful natural movement, effortless, spontaneous in some way. But let us now receive a nice full breath into the nose and allow that breath to be drawn way down into the lower lungs so you feel your belly expand. Feel the body in response to that. The hand moves, and as you exhale, you feel the belly contract. And do a few more breaths just like that, focusing gently, lovingly, curiously on receiving enough breath in so the lower lungs fill and the belly expands. And as you exhale, feel the belly contract. And then let's bring the hands, crossing the arms, bringing the hands to the ribs, either side of your rib cage. Continuing to receive your breath in its fullness, breathing in through the nose, feeling lower lungs, belly expands, but then also receive enough breath in so you feel your ribs expand. Feel that beautiful pause at the top of the inhale, and as you exhale, feel the muscles between the ribs contract, rib cage contracts. Softening the shoulders as you do this, let the upper arms be heavy, and really just luxuriating in this experience.
Mm.
And then you can go ahead and bring your hands just to your upper chest. One hand can rest on top of the other. Perhaps hands are on the heart. As you receive your breath in now, allow belly to expand, ribs to expand. Now also allow your upper chest to expand. And as you exhale, you feel the chest fall. You also feel the ribs contract and the belly draw in and up. And you continue breathing just like this, allowing also the lower back to expand, the middle back to expand, the upper back to expand as you breathe in, and feeling that sort of galvanizing, but also quieting and gentle closing quality of the exhale. And we'll just take a few more breaths just like this, experiencing, enjoying, most importantly, the responsiveness of your body to your breath. So, practicing also softening the body and allowing the body to be incredibly receptive to this natural movement of breath. And you're welcome to keep with this for as long as you like, feeling and enjoying kind of the symphony of movement and bodily response that occurs as we breathe in and out. And whenever you're ready, you can release your hands to your knees or your thighs, lower your chin to your chest. And then floating the eyes open as you're ready and lifting your head up and taking in the space around you. Yeah, and returning.
So good. So good. It's just real. If you loved that, if you're breathing deeper because of that offering from Sadia, please send her one of these. Okay. I do want to ask you something before we go. Just a minute or two left here. So if you have any
Yeah.
questions for us on Esalen Life, please float them into the chat. One of the ways that I find my breath deepening is with my practice of chanting, kirtan, and it's
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
interesting because like heart and lungs share the same energetic space. Anahata chakra, if we're
Mm-hmm.
talking yogic terms, right? The
Mm-hmm.
vibration of the breath through the song vibrates the heart, and I just feel like my mood just goes whoop. So,
Mm.
is sound part of the breath practice that you'll experience with you?
Oh, absolutely. 1000%. Thank you for addressing sound. In a previous life, I was a jazz singer and I had
Whoa.
a, yeah. And as you were speaking, Christine, my body was kind of just lighting up at your recollection of this resonance that happens when we sound on that exhale. And as part of my practices with singing, and I'll do this at my workshop, uh, I would do these long held tones, which is very much akin to chanting the sound of Om. So, folks who are much smarter than I am, and we're running out of time, but folks who are much smarter than I am have written at length about this phenomenon of resonance that occurs when we sound. We add a little sound to the breath. And I encourage everyone, once this broadcast is over, just let out a sound of some kind on your exhale, whether it's chanting the sound of Om, a long tone, maybe you're humming. Have that experience of resonance and notice how it shifts your energy. Perhaps it's uplifting, it might soothe you, it might downregulate you. Try it and see what happens and
Right?
let us know later. You can leave a comment in the
Leave a
chat.
comment. Absolutely. And you know how it
Right.
affects our pets and our kids and our spouses. Versus right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's all
Mm-hmm.
go
Mm-hmm.
inhale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to experience this with
Mm-hmm.
Sadia, oh, it sounds so good. Sadia in person, the power of breath, embodied liberation, freedom from the breath, through the breath, and because of the breath. February 11th through 13th, coming up soon. So, Sadia, can we do one final inhale and exhale together? Everyone, thanks for joining us on Esalen Live. Sadia is going to give us one breath here together. Let's breathe together to close it out. Go for it.
Yes, let's take a full breath in and a sigh out.
Ah. It's so good. It's so
Ah,
good. Thanks,
so good,
Sadia.
so
So
easy. Thank you
good.
so much, Christine.
You got it. Everyone have a beautiful day. Breathe, move, sigh it out. See you later.
Yeah, take care.